Um, Lots happened since the last time we talked. We've got you guys, the city commission selected a replacement for District 2. Um, Commissioner Justice was named vice mayor. And probably please touch on this because this could be the best news in a long time. You briefly mentioned that there may be a little stoking of the fire to reheat Bel Air at Beckwith.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely. Let me start with that. Let me start first of all. And Mark, thanks, because I know you had to hear me 2 days in a row. And my wife.
I can't. I'll listen to you tomorrow too if you want me to.
Oh man, I tell you, I hate it. Trust me, my wife has to live with me, and she doesn't want to hear me. So I just appreciate everybody chiming in or being here this morning. I appreciate what you do. First and foremost, we did the little videos for the chamber, and I want to thank Marla and the other folks, Miss Pope and yourself. My video is probably as corny as the day is long. I bet I did that thing 15 times, and I couldn't think what to say. And so I hope it's okay. But I mean it sincerely. With all that's going on in the country, there's a lot of stress. I was talking to my poor mom the other day. My dad's not doing well, and I tried to convince my mom. I said, "Mom, this is America. She's just worried about things, with all the news you hear on all sides." And I said, "Mom, just keep your chin up." I said, "This country's always been great. It's going to be great." And so we're just most blessed. I got a new grandbaby. It was born on the 14th, so that's 3 now. And everything went well there with mama and everything. And so very excited about that. So we're focused on that in Mount Juliet. But also sales tax numbers, we just got those in, and we were up, I believe, 30 some odd percent to the tune of about $304,000 over the same period last year. So Mark, whatever you and the chamber and these business owners are doing is working well, because that puts us up about 2.5 million over last year in sales tax numbers. And so it could always be different. It could always be worse. And I was talking to somebody recently that was concerned about some of the vacant space. And I said, having a vacant space isn't always so bad. I see Miss Phyllis there, and she'll tell you that if they get a vacant space, that gives me an opportunity to find a space for somebody else. And just last Friday, I was showing 3 different people around various locations around town. And I got a call last night about 8:30 that one of the tenants had signed a lease. It's called Bach to Rock. It's a music place. It's a franchise, and they're going to go in where Middle Tennessee Electric used to be, probably about 3,000 square feet there. And I think the owner is actually the drummer for Tim McGraw. So it just sort of gives you an example of why it's good sometimes to have an empty space, because it provides me and the chamber an opportunity to find a place to put people. And we've got a grocery store list of different businesses looking right now. I'll be honest with you, since the early Providence days, I've never seen activity as hot as it is right now. And the only thing I think of is when you're the second wealthiest county in the state of Tennessee and one of the best places to live in the world, you're in high demand. So I don't think we've seen anything yet. And Mark, I'm going to pause there. You asked me before I got to rambling to speak to something first. What was that again?
Your grandkids, and you covered that.
Okay, I covered that. I knew I'd get off topic with all that and then forget totally. So I'm just going to ramble on about everything else.
No, I spoke briefly with Mayor Bell this morning at the Coleman Walker show, and nudged him and told him thank you as well for everybody on the government side getting back together and revisiting the Bel Air at Beckwith project.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that. I actually have a Zoom call with Mike Wright of Lebanon this coming Friday in regards to that project. We're trying to get that reignited again. There's no better time than now. And I think a lot of things have changed. Mayor Bell and I had about a 2-hour meeting last Friday here at City Hall. I think he's going to be an absolutely fabulous mayor. Just a great conversation. I could tell from speaking to him. Of course, everybody knows his brother, Jack. And very excited about our relationship with them. A lot of things in common. We're going to probably see a lot of partnerships in the future, some different things that we're looking at doing. So excited about that. But we need Lebanon and they need us. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. We want them to do well. If they do well, we do well, and vice versa. So very excited about that. But we'll also need them on this Bel Air at Breakfast project, because about 50% of that lies in Lebanon and 50% of it is within the city limits of Mount Juliet. So, who provides sewer and all those kind of things. I told Mayor Bell, I said I'd have to ask our mayor and our elected body, but from my perspective, we don't really care who provides the sewer, because if development comes there, it's a blessing to all of us, especially if that ends up being white collar or something like that and a bunch of jobs. So we're going to be working together real well with them. I want to congratulate our new mayor, Mayor Manus. Of course, he's not a newcomer to the city. He's been here a long time. Very excited about him taking the helm. I think he's going to do a wonderful job. We wish those in the past and everybody that served the city well. Commissioner Hefner that was elected, he's hit the ground running, do a fabulous job. And this coming Monday, the new commissioner, Bill Trivet, who is from Hickory Hills and also the HOA director there, he'll get sworn in. And I've had some dealings with him in the past through Hickory Hills HOA Association, and find him to be an extremely exemplary gentleman and a great guy to work with. So I'm really excited about our elected body. We got, Mark, you heard me talking yesterday, just to run down a few things that we've done recently. 9 new firefighters for our fire department. We're trying to get that ISO rating down to 4 and even better. Our new fire department for Green Hill, down by the Green Hill High School, will be on the planning commission this week. The hope is that once we get that open, we can at some point either renovate or build a new fire station behind City Hall. The commission just recently voted to add some new traffic signals. That'll add 3 new traffic signals to very needed locations. And our commission stepped up and said, hey, we'll fund them. That way we can expedite this process and maybe have some of these signals in as early as May. And that's unheard of. Now, of course, all the pieces have to fall in place because we're working with the state. But if you were doing this the old fashioned way, you may be talking about 4 to 6 years, and that's no reflection on the state. It just takes a while. But if you fund those things yourself, you don't have to wait for, safety grants and things of that nature. So just extremely excited about that. We've been working with an organic grocery store, Mark, as I mentioned yesterday, showing them several locations, including Miss Phyllis's location there at Everett Downs on Mount Jewett Road. At this point, you're just trying to get them enthused and excited about your community. They're already well aware of it, but you're trying to tell them things that they might not know through their due diligence processes about additional subdivisions coming in, new businesses, crime. You just think about it, all the things that they want to hear. So we're really singing the city's praises right now and our community's praises to try to get them lured in. A multitude of other businesses. Of course, everybody's seen the work has started for the I-40 bridge widening. I think everybody's going to be blown away at what that's going to look like. I mean, if you think of the 109 bridge and you think of how stately it is and you go, wow, that's an awful nice bridge for something that just gets you from one side of the water to the other. But we look at the bridge at 40 as sort of a gateway into our city. And if everybody remembers back when we added the LED lights, how that changed that interchange, well, just imagine what the bridge is going to look like as you come down 40, and it just doesn't look like a bridge. It's got the decorative street lighting, it's got the sidewalks, it's got the bike lanes, it's got brick, it's got stone, and the transition will be on the west side of Mount Jewett Road. So if you can envision coming up from Cracker Barrel, the bridge addition should be on the west side of the bridge, and then it'll go by the Shell station, by the BP, by Cheddar's, and then it will transition back in. And the reason that we designed it that way, and I want to give Andy Barlow a shout out, because had Andy not thought of this, the state's plan was to go to the east side of Mount Jewett Road, which would have required the city to buy the old Mattress Firm building and Tiger Market and all that. So your right-of-way costs would have been a whole lot more. So some good work on the inside to sort of see those opportunities. So excited about that. That'll probably take about 18 months. But you know how it is, you'll blink and that 18 months will have passed, but every day you'll get to see that progress and know that eventually not only will it look better, but you'll have that other lane to bring you southbound on Mount Jewett, or actually northbound on Mount Jewett Road. So I'm gonna pause there for a second before I get into the list of businesses to see if anybody's got any questions or if there's anything that I've aired and not mentioned so far.
Well, just would you clarify when Providence Central was being when it was working through the process, the bridge widening was a key component to when they could start getting COs. And at that time, I may have misunderstood, but I thought the bridge project was projected between more closer to 14 months instead of 18 to 24 months. What added perhaps 8 months to that project?
Well, I hope I didn't say 24. I hope I said 18. And the only reason I'm saying 18 is just to be safe, to build in some time if weather issues occur. The hope is to expedite it, to create everything that the contractor needs to make it even quicker than that, Mark. And you're right. The hope is 14 months. But you know me, I'm sort of erring on the side of caution. So if I said 24, I apologize. I meant 18. But 18, in my opinion, hopefully would be at the worst. But, when you work somewhere 31 years and you've seen something say, hey, we'll be done with that in 6 months, and you're 15 years later. You remember what we were, the Central Pike interchange was supposed to be in 5 years after Providence opened. So I'm a little gun shy. And that's nobody's fault. It's really, that was more about funding, if everybody remembers. And I know Representative Lynn's not on here, and other state reps and people that assisted with that. But the Governor's Improve Act has been a big help. It's not everything we'd like it to be. Of course, you'd like cash to be able to do these projects, but our elected body to step up and do all the engineering, right-of-way design, and environmental, that's huge on the city part to do that, including these traffic lights. But there's no saying, sometimes if you want to get something done and get it done quick, you have to be willing to put some skin in the game yourself. So Providence Central, I have a feeling that this commission would not let the progress of that development not proceed in a good way. We've had a lot of interest. I've talked to Rob Porter. We were talking yesterday. As a matter of fact, I've talked to GC and others, and Rob will tell you, and he'll probably chime in here in a minute at some point and tell you that the Class A office and the white collar, even though because of COVID, that sort of look has changed. Instead of these 200,000 square foot buildings, now they're looking at more 50, 75, 85,000 square feet. And they're making these office experiences totally different, so that when these office personnel go in, it's a totally different environment, because they're not there every day like they're going to be. And Mark, like I do, we want to get our daytime population up. There's a ton of interest. We just recently missed one that was looking at Legacy Point and Providence Central. Rob's aware of that as well. And had the infrastructure already been in, that could have been the difference between us and Murfreesboro. But as you can imagine, it's sort of like when Miss Phyllis does a subdivision, and you can see the land from the road, but you don't have a road to get you back to the land to sort of envision where you would be. Had we had the infrastructure in at either Legacy Point or at Providence Central, GC and Rob seemed to feel that we would have been first on that list, but they couldn't take it to that next step. Well, we're going to get to that next step now. So I can assure you, as your city manager, we're going to do everything we can, and including our elected body, to make sure we're expediting these projects and not letting some things that might have been put in on the front end derail something. And, it sounds good on the front end when you do it, and I understand it's law and that's the way it's written, but it doesn't mean that we can't be amended and that we can't be more forgiving in the future. So hope that gives everybody some assurances. We're not going to, one of the best things that's happened in Providence Central is the commission approving that project. I know how some people feel about apartments, but when you think about a 20-acre development out of 200 some odd acres, and that's the impetus for kicking it off. A lot of these folks that work in these office buildings, as we all know, they have to have somewhere to live. And not everybody wants that home and a picket fence. A lot of these younger folks, and Gen Xers and millennials, they like apartments. That's what they like. I think somebody had questioned a while back, so, well, why would anybody want to live by the interstate? Well, I built a house by the interstate, and I don't even hear it. So folks in apartments and apartment buildings tend to be built in such a way that at least the part that faces interstate is built in such a way, including the glass, that you don't really hear the interstate. I hope that makes sense. It just becomes sort of white noise to folks. So there's just a lot of good projects kicking around, and I'm very excited about that. So Mark, I hope that answered that question about the bridge. The timing, I hope, is even sooner.
Yeah, it does. I just, let folks know that people are keeping an eye on the ball and excited about it. And you talk about building a road so you can actually see what it's going to kind of look like. There's been a road built in the last 8 or 9 months when it comes to sales tax collections. And I think people have gotten a glimpse of what happens when you have daytime people, even though in this case, they may have been almost forced to work at home. But take a look at what's happened with sales tax when you have a daytime population. We no longer go past Local Joe's and see 3 cars out there, or 6 cars at Courtney's, your daytime sales has picked up in our restaurants. Shopping, call ahead and get a reservation at Lowe's because the line's out the door practically. So if you can keep people in the community and they don't have to go to Nashville, sales tax, then you're talking about being able to fund your projects, give teachers more money, things like that. So people can see now, oh, they weren't kidding about this. This really works. And I think that that ball's getting some momentum, and we've got businesses pitching in and promoting, thank you for shopping local. It's just been a concerted effort by a lot of folks, and but we know that. So no, that Providence Central project is paramount. And so we don't want to let any red tape get in the way of that. You were going to mention some of the businesses and then maybe share an update on the lane widening by the clock tower.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, if we were talking about, the call this coming Friday with the Bel Air Beckwith project, that's just a perfect example because the activity that's going on Golden Bear, probably one of the best decisions the city's ever made to add in Golden Bear, put it on the east side of the city like they did. Because now we've got all kinds of interest. You got HCA that's already taken down some additional land, looking at expanding out there. I think it's number one in their list of facilities of that type. And so that speaks volumes when you think about how big their network is. So very excited about that. You've got all kinds of retail looking over there. We got at least 3 different convenience market gas stations looking, one at Jackson Hills, one at 70 and Golden Bear, and then also one just on the other side of HCA, right there at the old Wilfong property. If everybody's familiar with that, just south of the hospital. And also there's a trailhead being built right now as we speak. With a restroom facility right across the street, basically from Amazon, that will tie in with the Greenway. And that Greenway basically will run all the way to Jackson Hills, which there's a Greenway there. So you're slowly but surely seeing this connectivity that's being built, including the Barlow Builders development on Clemens Road. So you'll eventually be able to walk all the way from Golden Bear down Clemens through the Greenway to the Greenway at West Division and all the way to South Green Hill, just to give you an example. And then eventually that Greenway will connect to the Little League Park on 70. And then, you just eventually remember, think of this big greenway that connects your entire city. And it wasn't too long ago, we didn't even have sidewalks. So now we're putting sidewalks on 70. And that enables us to go back and add our streetscape. So visually, we're changing our city. And the next big spot you're going to see that on is Highway 70. I think we hadn't been able to do that because of the way that the right-of-ways are situated there. It's just hard for our crews to get out and maintain it like we do Mount Jet Road. So imagine what that's going to do to 70. You're seeing a ton of development on Lebanon Road, including redevelopment on Lebanon Road. And we call that a build-a-block program. As you get one person, it sort of beautifies their building, or somebody takes out an old building and builds a new one. Before you know it, that entire area starts transitioning, and people say, you know what, I need to redo my building as well so that I can sort of keep up with these folks or be more in keeping with what they're doing. I get to rambling about these things sometimes, and there's so much that you leave out because the enthusiasm is so good for what we've got going on. But to give you an example, just some of the businesses during a pandemic, a COVID, with the COVID and the recession, is the Candied Rib will be taking the location where Pizza Hut is across from the Mount Juliet Middle School. Jay's Smoked Barbecue, if you're familiar with them, we're looking for them a location in Mount Juliet. Sephora will be going into Providence, which is going into the old Christian bookstore that used to be over there, Lifeway Christian. Taco Bell, of course, is building on Lebanon Road, and they're redoing the Kentucky Fried Chicken, which that's an additional building, additional sales tax provider, property tax provider, you name it. So that's a good thing. Plus, it's new development. Of course, Thai Samurai went in. O'Reilly Auto Parts will be going in at the car wash on 70, right beside the Tractor Supply. They're sort of slow walking that project, but each time we call them, we say that it's still in the books. They own the property, and the project's been approved. We got the Emission Center up and going again. As everybody knows, we've been having some problems with our Emission Center in Mundy Park. That's really more of a state issue, but we decided to step up and do the work ourselves and pay for the repairs that needed to be done so that the emission vans didn't keep going down. They kept tripping out breakers. And I said, you know what, it's such a great service for the citizens. Let's step up and do whatever we need to do. So we had a professional electrician come in and put them an entirely separate electrical system in. So it shouldn't go down anymore in the future. So I think that was a good thing to do on the city's behalf, and appreciate everybody's patience on that. Advanced Auto Parts will be going in the old Pier 1 location, which, that's great because those shoppers will now go to At Home. Gardner Academy, the Dollar General on Lebanon Road, the Dollar General store that Miss Phyllis and them built, which, by the way, Miss Phyllis, that is a beautiful addition to Nonover Road. If you look at that development in the barber shop, if you look at what's going in with the apartments, if you look at the dog sanctuary, and if you look at the development that's proposed for the golf course, the residential, you can even see a transition that happened on Nonover Road, which that's very exciting about. The Bubba Coos, which is a great restaurant going in across from Cheddar's, will also be joined by Subway. If you remember that little building not too many years ago, the gentleman owns it. I told him this. It really wasn't a very attractive building. They did more of a modernized type of remake of it. And I told him then, I said, if you'll redo that building, I guarantee it'll lease out. And we got 2 tenants for it. So excited about that. Oscar's Tacos. If you remember before going to Your Pie, that used to be over, next to Burger Republic. They'll be going in there. And if you hadn't had a chance to check out their website, check them out. It's just not, it's a franchise type business. There's other locations across the country, and everybody that I've talked to raves about that particular business. So excited about getting that. The residents of Mount Juliet across from Two Rivers Ford, if you've been by there, it's absolutely beautiful development. I love having the developments of that type here because we're getting older, our parents are getting older, and it's nice to have locations right in our own city to where these people can reside and we can go and love on them. And you remember the old days where everybody had to go to McHenry Village, and now you're standing here looking at these developments, like Everett Downs on the, and Robinson Crossing and the park, and the development again. I keep mentioning Miss Phyllis because they've got so many things going. You think of the development they're doing on Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Most everybody watching this video this morning remembers the days that your average house in Mount Juliet was $80,000. And here Miss Phyllis is on the verge of building $1 million houses. I mean, that's just unheard of in our city. Now your starter home's $330,000. So absolutely amazing.
Kenny.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the residents across from Two Rivers Ford. When you said that, I meant to ask you yesterday, are you speaking of Harmony?
Yes, I keep wanting to call it that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just I thought maybe something new slipped in on me.
No, that's what we called it early on, and then it's got this Harmony name.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying that, Mark.
No, that's okay. That's good. That is a big
been by there. It's gorgeous, and just imagine what it's going to look in the summer once the grass comes in and all the greenery, and they've got the connection now to the road there. We'll also be adding a left turn lane into Two Rivers Ford, and we'd like to thank them because they've got skin in the game there as well, and they're putting about $50,000 into that project. So we want to thank them for their partnership. That'll make traveling to Two Rivers Ford a little bit easier, so you don't stop that inside lane. Avid Hotel, right across from Al Clark. If you've wondered what that is, Avid Hotel is building a brand new
over there and see who they are. I mean, these people are freaking out on me now.
Hey, Rob. I heard Rob. But of course, the True Brand Hotel, I went over and met last week with Bob. And if you hadn't had a chance to go by that hotel, that's about a $40 million investment. And just walk into the lobby and think about that building. You literally walk in and you feel like you're in a building that would be in downtown Nashville. It's just amazing the investments being made in our community. Goddard Day School, and we're also looking for a site for Pieology Pizzeria, if you're familiar with them. And you've got other businesses like Haagen-Dazs that recently opened. You've got the New York Pizzeria that recently opened, and a whole grocery list of others that I haven't even mentioned this morning. So, Mark, I could go on and on, but I'm just appreciative of everybody. Again, I can't see everybody that's on here, but I recognize all the names that I see, because what we do at the city, as I've always said, we're just servants, basically. Everything that happens is a result of the people I see and the people out there in our community that invest in it. So I have people tell me all the time, thank you so much for your help. We really appreciate it. I'm like, no, thank you, because if it wasn't for what these folks do in our community, I'm not the one that's having to go invest millions of dollars in the community. It's just amazing. I want everybody, if you ever take time to think about it, of where we've come and where the city's going, I could literally talk for another 2 hours and still not hit everything that's being talked about and proposed for this city. That's how amazing it is right now.
You started off your remarks with the addition of 9 firefighters, but you've also added parks, police, and possibly even an engineer.
That's right. Yeah, we're looking at adding a traffic engineer, or at least traffic engineering services, because the 3 engineers that we have, and think about it, not too many years ago, we had 1 engineer that also served as our public works director. Now we've got 3, and this commission has said we need to step up and do everything we can to expedite these road projects. Well, the only way you can do that is put somebody basically on that 24/7 and let that be their sole focus. And so we also added another codes inspection person. We added 2 more people at the parks. And let me tell you why we did that. We did that because tomorrow I'll be closing on 57 acres, which is down off of Beckwith Road, for a park. And we just added 20 acres at Grace Church. We just added 9 acres beside Victory Church on Tate Lane. And the commission wants to buy even more park land. So we're looking at doing some more work over at Mundy Park. And I've never seen so much activity. And so we're extremely busy trying to get these parks up and going and get them designed. Rob's helping with some of that as well. And another exciting thing too, on the Tomlinson property that we're closing on tomorrow, Mark, the 57 acres, Beezer Homes has reached out to us because they're looking at doing a development, and they already had their sights set on this property that we ended up buying, sort of hates out from under them. They knew what we were doing, but we beat them to the punch. Well, the good thing about that is they didn't necessarily need the whole 57 acres, and they needed to do a lot more due diligence. So not only does the property owner win because they get their money and they're an older couple and they can go off and enjoy their life, but the city gets its parkland. Well, here's the kicker. Beazer Homes wants to buy 20 acres from the city and almost pay us back entirely what we paid for the whole piece of property, plus build our infrastructure, our parking lot, and a restroom facility for the city at no additional charge. So that gives us sort of a park day one that all we've got to do then is start going in like we did Robinson Park and add in our walking trails and things of that nature. And a lot of that stuff we can do in-house. You know, we can hire contractors and things of that nature without making it as big a deal. So those are the kind of outside the box things we're looking at doing in the future. And again, keep in mind, it's a pandemic and COVID. Imagine what this city is going to do and what you're going to do, the folks that's listening this morning, once we get beyond this. And we can sort of spread our wings a little bit and take, hopefully get these masks off and not have to worry as much. This is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And so my enthusiasm for coming into work every day, and even when I have to dress like this, that's okay, because we're going to do every little thing we can for, as anybody knows how cheap I am, for as little money as we can possibly do, including partnering with other businesses to assist us with a lot of the things that we're wanting to do. And if you see something we're not doing right or that we can do better, please let me know about it. If it's something I can do better or something we're not doing, because the only way we can fix it, we may not even see it. We may not even realize we're doing it. But hokey as it may sound, and y'all know me, we work for you guys. We are public servants. That's it. I'm a glorified public servant. My job is to do whatever it takes to help get business here and to help you be prosperous and help our city and our citizens have a good quality of life. That's it.
So far, so good. Love the sidewalks on Lebanon Road. Not sure about blocking the entrance to the liquor store on New Year's Eve. That's a different story. So no, they've done well. My wife missed the Dollar Tree entrance about 3 times, I think, but that's okay too. So it does look really nice, and I hope that's the impetus for some folks to, we'll be able to take care of it. The crews that you have going up and down Lebanon Road, Mount Juliet Road, picking up trash won't necessarily be taking their life in their own hands now with their little 4-wheeler in the bike lane. So,
Mark, can I speak to that real quick?
Oh, absolutely.
Let me tell you, when Mayor Bell and I first met, and to show how proud I'm of this program, because when we first started, just like, remember the benches I started putting out initially, the wood ones, and everybody started laughing. So when's the bus coming? They were done more for streetscape, but also to encourage people that if you see trash, you can pick it up, put it in the trash can. So we're going to be putting out all kinds of decorative trash receptacles along Lebanon Road. You're going to see lots more park benches. And I want to brag on our City Beautiful team, because I don't think a lot of folks realize the Parks Department not only takes care of all the parks, but they also cut all the grass and all the trees that may hang over into the road and all that along all right-of-ways, including those that are state. The City Beautiful team, they get out every day and just keep things looking pretty and pick up trash constantly. When Mayor Bell and I first sat down, one of the first things that he spoke about and asked about is, how do you keep your city looking so good? And I told him, I said, it's simple. We've got 3 people, and they're very passionate about getting out every day to make sure that we're keeping this trash picked up. And we don't get it all. And I told him, I said, there's work to be done, and I'm so picky, we'll never get it all, because unfortunately there's people out there they don't respect your community enough that they throw this trash out or dump it on somebody's property. But as soon as they put it out there, we're going to get it. And that also helps keep crime down. And we never know who's in our community looking to invest in it. That's another reason why we do it. But the most important reason we do it is to maintain the property values for the people that have invested in our community, that either own a business or a home. We owe it to you. So you'll be seeing that increasing, and you'll be seeing our beautification efforts go up. So I want to give Marty Potts a shout out for him and his team's passion, because you would think, and I've tried to emphasize this to them, it's not just picking up trash. That is not what they do. What they do makes the difference, because it's the first thing you notice when you come to Mount Juliet.
I'd suggest that about the second thing you notice is, if you're so inclined while you're out for a walk that you want to stop and play the piano under a gazebo or a bus stop, you can do it in Mount Juliet.
That's right. That's right.
How about that?
That's exactly right. See, and ain't too many other places you can do that. And if y'all have got any ideas for anything you see, because I know there's some creative people out there, If you're an artist or you know an artist, we got all kinds of places we want people to paint murals. We got if you're an artist and you've done something creative, like I'm gonna show y'all something real quick, okay?
Have at it.
I want y'all to see it.
Hey, Rob, I won't do it in Kenny's presence, but are you up for giving us a quick update on Providence Central when he finishes his remarks?
Sure. Be happy.
Thank you.
All right, can y'all see this?
Oh yeah, I've met that guy.
Yeah, what that is that's a window that somebody gave me, right? And it's just a window. So what we're going to start doing is we're encouraging all artists, because there's some very talented people well beyond me, and we want to encourage you to create art, to look for areas of Mount Juliet that if you see something that you're capable of doing and you want to do through the chamber, the entire chamber membership, even if it's a partnership, shoot it our way. You know, if it's financially something that we need to assist with, we'll do that. If it's something I need to raise funds with, we'll do that. But there's some very talented people out there. For example, Ray has got this Bandit Trans Am, and he said that we could take that thing and for 24/7 for the foreseeable future, put it on a rotisserie and just put it somewhere where somebody can just see that thing rotate, just as an art piece in the community. And he said he'll even come out and be a guest model in it periodically and wear his Burt Reynolds mustache and his hat.
Ray and the Bandit.
Ray and
As
the
long
Bandit.
as Rochelle Regard's going to be, beside me in it, we'll do that.
Hey,
So Mark, I love everybody on here. Thank you for what you do. I'll hush now and turn it over to Rob. But I can't thank all you precious people enough for what you do in our community.
you mentioned Rachel, grade A. Don't think there can be enough said about what y'all did to help out our community. We owe you a debt of gratitude. It put chills up my arms when I pulled up in front of, I made it almost to Dairy Queen the morning after the tornado and had to stop. Didn't know exactly what was coming out of Valley Center parking lot. Turned out to be what looked like a construction parade of massive equipment heading to, it hadn't even been 24 hours or 12 hours yet, I don't think. And so we owe you a debt of gratitude we'll never be able to repay you for, but thank you so much. Rob, Providence Central, be a great time to maybe get just a update. I know you talked to Mike. So far, so good.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. The status on Providence Central, from those of y'all don't know much about it, 265-acre mixed-use project there south of the interstate between Central Pike Interchange location and basically the Marriott Courtyard Hotel. But plans have actually been submitted to the city for 2 or 3 of the first phases of the work. The Providence Parkway extension from there in front of Creekside Apartments all the way to Central Pike have been submitted and actually approved for construction. That road plan with all the utilities that go along with it. Actually a heavily landscaped corridor, very similar to what Providence Parkway going back to the east into Providence will look like. A lot of landscaping, some black farm fence, some other things going on, a 10-foot paved trail all the way to Central Pike and sidewalks, whatnot. So it's a 5-lane section. We're building 3 lanes in this first phase. We also have plans. I think we got our last set of comments. We're supposed to have our approvals by Friday, I believe, from the city for the enclave at Providence Central, the apartment project that's 296 units, I believe. It's going to be, it'll rival the nicest, highest rent apartment in the city to date. And along with that, there is actually a 30-acre tract on the north side of the new Providence Parkway that will be mass graded and start the initial work for a mixed use development that'll have at least 4, we're calling them spec office buildings. Hopefully at the time we break ground, they won't be spec anymore, but those are actually in the works also, and getting permits for mass grading and some utility extension for that. We've been marketing pretty hard with the state, and Mike Murphy with Cumberland Advisors has actually had numerous meetings and inquiries from folks that are looking for office sites for their clients. And so we truly expect at the time of the groundbreaking of that road, which should be, we are hoping sometime in the 1st of March, the land will close and the project will actually be underway. So expect 6 to 8 months on the road being complete and open for traffic, and the apartments probably under construction for 12 to 18 months, probably the first apartment at least probably 12 months from March. So that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, I know they've had a significant number of folks looking, and a lot of it is really dependent on that road starting. I think once they can drive or at least see the road under construction, that cuts a lot of time off the front end of their projects as far as knowing when it's going to be ready for them. But everything's moving. We got a lot of excitement out there, and Kenny had talked about white collar jobs. This is certainly going to be one of the players. There are still 2 or 3 large users looking at Wilson County, Providence Central, Legacy. Even I mentioned this yesterday, Wilson Farms at 109 and South Hartman, the other projects there, all are having interest because of the opportunity to immediately start buildings for tenants. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we've got it all set up now. So Mark,
You got an army of supporters behind you. I can tell you that. We're excited about it.
I mean, we talked for a long time about having the number of restaurants and hotel rooms and support services, vacant land, available, which we had a shortage of for a while. But I think the developers have spent a lot of money, put a lot of money at risk to get ready for this, where we're at right now. So keep our fingers crossed.
Rob, I know you'll remember, Kenny, you may have been there as well, but many years ago, our Economic Community Development Committee met upstairs in the boardroom at Wilson Bank and Trust. And we had this gentleman come in named Seth McDowell, and he was going to develop where the elementary school is, where I'm standing right now. And we asked him, what do we need that we don't have? He said, well, I got to tell you, but your microtel hotel's not cutting it. When I have people come in, we need a nice hotel for them to stay in. Preferably a hot breakfast, nice place. Guess what, Seth? We got you some hotel rooms now. So come a long way. Kenny, I have 2 quick things. One, I know this seems like it's a long way down the road, but truthfully, it's not for some of our businesses. Has there been a final decision on where you will hold the 4th of July fireworks display?
It is, yeah. Now that we're partnering with the Little League, I know that we hate losing our spot up around Providence. I know that may not seem like the most ideal location, but with all upgrades we're making on Lebanon Road, it'll be at the Little League again this year.
Okay.
We've already met with the vendor, and it'll also be with the Fish, radio station as well, like we've done in years past. And we hope to improve that every year. It's a great fundraiser for the Little League program as well.
I know there was talk of wanting to go back out to, I'm going to say in the Zaxby's area somewhere out there, but if it's a final decision, we can pass that along as well. Want to mention to everybody and pass the word, Marla, Michelle, we're doing everything we can on social media, but 1 week from tomorrow, I believe at noon, annual banquet going live. We've never done this before. We know a little bit how Steven Spielberg feels trying to make a movie. We've been working, they've been working very hard on this. We're not done working yet. It'll continue, but it should be, well, it's fair to say, it will be one of a kind so far. Whether it's one of a kind that we want to repeat, we'll find out next Thursday, won't we? But we're going to recognize a number of chamber champions, those that have helped us all navigate these uncharted waters that we've all found ourselves in. But, we've all had many, many issues, but we also have many, many shining stars in our community. A lot of people have been working really hard on this. Go live at noon, again at 6 that night. And then after that, it'll be posted on our YouTube channel. The good thing is this time we're not limited to seating. so we can accommodate everybody that wants to see it. And with that, I know I added a little bit there. Kenny Howe. There's a name I haven't seen for a while on here. Kenny is back at the paper.
Yep.
All right.
Glad to have him back too.
Hey, there for a minute, I thought maybe he was going to be, he may be leaving sooner than we think, though, if they end up hiring him as the UT football coach. I don't know.
I
His
put
chance
in,
is about as good as anybody else, I suppose.
yeah, I put in my application, so we'll see.
You got your name in the hat there, buddy. That's it. So,
That was easy.
yeah. So if nobody else has anything else, Marla, you can take off the hot mic and we'll call it a day. Thank you very much. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday. Mayor Hutto will be doing his Wilson County Wednesday at 9 o'clock and you'll get an invitation. Y'all have a blessed day.